Resilience Reinvented, Empowing Businesses for an Unpredictable Future. I'm your presenter, Rick Slark. Victorinox is a company that's famous for making the Swiss Army knife. First produced in 1891, this handy multi tool is instantly recognizable due to its distinctive red body. It was also extremely popular, accounting for 95% of the company's revenue. But the events that took place in New York on September 11th, 2001 changed everything. It became illegal to have any small, sharp object in your carry on luggage, and as a consequence, sales of pocket knives plummeted. For Victorinox to survive, something had to change. Working with what they had, which was a strong brand with a solid reputation for quality, the company quickly introduced different products like luggage, key rings, and watches. And by diversifying, it was able to ride out the storm, and now its famous knives account for only about 35% of its revenue. It's fair to say that any business that's been around a long time will have experienced its share of challenges. However, those that survive are the ones that adapt to their changing circumstances. After all, for every Victorinox, there's a blockbuster video. Let's define business resiliency. Business resiliency describes as an organization's ability to respond and adapt quickly to disruptions or significant unplanned changes that could threaten its operations, people, assets, brand, or reputation. Here are some causes of volatility and uncertainty throughout history. Economic crisis, the Great Depression of 1929, where the stock markets crashed, and the subsequent economic downturn caused widespread business volatility. In 2008, we experienced the global financial crisis. The collapse of Lehman Brothers and the housing market crash triggered a worldwide financial crisis leading to business closures and layoffs. Then we have inflation and recession that has happened throughout our history. The second is technological disruptions. In the late 1990s, we had the dot-com bubble, where rapidly rising stock prices of internet companies, followed by a crash in 2000, highlighted the volatility of the tech businesses. Then we have AI, which is digital transformation. This digital revolution has disrupted traditional business models across various industries, leading to uncertainty and volatility. We have geopolitical events, world wars. So World War I and World War II caused significant business disruption due to its resource shortages, destruction, and shifting markets. In 2016, Brexit entered. The uncertainty surrounding the UK's exit from the EU caused tremendous economic fluctuations and affected cross-border business operations. We had 2011 or 2001, the September 11th, where the World Trade Centers, that caused an immediate and tremendous disruption. We have Russia and Ukraine, China, North Korea, and the border south of the United States. Another is natural disasters. As we know, Hurricane Katrina in 2005. The hurricane and subsequent flooding in New Orleans disrupted regional businesses and supply chains nationwide. COVID-19, the pandemic of 2020. The pandemic led to lockdowns, supply chain disruptions, and economic uncertainty, causing volatility across industries globally. Then we have regulatory changes. The Dodd-Frank Act of 2010 which was the financial regulatory overhaul following the 2008 financial crisis, introduced new rules impacting the operations of financial institutions. The GDPR of 2018, which was the European Union General Data Protection Regulation, introduced stricter data protection rules affecting business worldwide. And then, of course, as we've mentioned, the changes after September 2001. The final change we'll talk about is cultural changes, racial tensions, gender relations, all of this wreaking havoc in our economies and in our business. Let's talk about three keys which are shaping the organizational decision making. The first is the industry that you are in. Many industries, as you go through these, whether it's the pandemic or other crises or disruptions, your business may be positioned to be in a profitable state. Other businesses or other industries may be in a very non profitable state. And so the industry you're in during one of these crises plays a huge role. The second is the amount of capital that a company has. And we'll talk more about this in a minute. But having the ability to have money, it gives you many, many options. Whereas if you're cash strapped, it does not. And the third, and one of the most important, is the mindset of the leader. We have leaders who are saying things are not going to go back to normal and we need to act and adjust and let's move forward aggressively. We have others that say, let's just wait and see. And then we have some, no, things will return to normal and we're not going to do anything because when this is over, everything will be as it was before. The question you ask, is this uncertainty in business returning to normal, or is it a wide range of uncertainty? This requires different thinking, planning, and actions. Let's talk about the strategies that businesses who are successful in agility and in resilience seem to operate from. Let's talk about those. But before we proceed, remember, it's important to note that about 70 or 80% of your business will remain the same. It is in identifying the lesser but powerful areas that will bring profitability and differentiation that matters. So you're not overhauling the entire business, but there are key changes that you may need to adopt. And the other thing I would say is you don't need to adopt all of these that we're talking about, but these are some of the main things that we see. And you need to decide with your team what is best for you to implement. The first is diversified revenue streams, expanding your product or your services, entering new markets, not relying on a single source of revenue because that can make an organization vulnerable. Number two is agile and scenario planning. I often see businesses planning for the best case scenario. So when we do a strategic plan, they want to, this is the way it's going to be. And I would like to offer that you identify various key uncertainties, developing plausible scenarios that could happen, and analyze implications and strategies. For instance, I like to use what is the worst case scenario, what is the best case scenario, and what will probably happen, and create strategies based upon those in your business. A strong supply chain management, making sure that you have diversification of vendors, that you're not, again, putting all your eggs in one basket when it comes to vendors, or that you have a different geographical vendors in case a natural disaster happens in one area, that you have other means of supply chain. The other thing then is keeping stock of having a little stock put away and a buffer inventory to get you through some of these difficult times. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. Digital transformation. So you identify what technologies you have right now, look at what is available technology wise. What could you do to advance your technology, to improve it, to secure it? And then you invest in that technology and innovation. If you remember, I talked about some keys of having the ability to be agile and resilient. And I said one of them was capital. And this is where many, many businesses got hurt during COVID-19. They needed to do an online presence, let's say, but they had no cash to do so, and they couldn't make the shift. So having some dry powder in capital allows you many more options in when you need it. Another strategy that we see is employee resilience and well-being. These are companies that have taken care of their employees. They provide flexible work arrangements, wellness programs. They recognize and provide growth opportunities, continuous learning, and innovation. They take care of their employees, and they put a lot of thought and care into helping them develop and grow in the company. You understand your financial resilience and your risk management. So you maintain a strong cash reserve, as I've mentioned already. You have a diversification of revenue streams, and you have effective debt management. You're paying attention to the dashboards of your finances, and you're making sure that they are healthy and that you are supplying money to these new innovations that perhaps need to be taken. Number seven is a customer centric approach. During these crisis situations, it's very easy to focus inwardly, but it's very important. And one strategy that is very successful and common for companies that are doing well during these crises is they understand the changing needs and behaviors of the customers, of their clients or customers. So they're understanding, they're paying attention to how things are changing. They are marketing and maintaining a strong relationship, keeping themselves top of mind. They have an effective debt management, and they deliver really, really high value. They really double down in that delivering high value during these times. Number nine is the cross-functional collaborations. So you have a clear communication of your goals. You create cross-functional teams. So you have people on the front lines and people management and people in the C-suite that are on these same teams, people that matter and have a cross-functional ideation that is coming along. And it's not just the C-suite making these decisions, but it is a cross-functionality team, providing collaboration and tools and platforms so that the teams can function with clear communication. If you have any questions about more on resilience and how you can build resilience and agility in your company, feel free to contact me. I'm Rick Slark at Slark Consulting Group, and there you have our contact information. Thank you for listening.